Good morning, everybody. Dean Kulabira, IT recruiter. Hope everybody's having a great weekend so far, and you're having a great start to your Saturday. Just going around doing my Saturday morning errands. Thought I'd stop in between and do a quick job search related video tip. Now, I've seen a post going around on LinkedIn, which has been gaining popularity, and I wrote it down. But basically, it's regarding when you receive that feedback from hiring managers after the interview that saying that you're overqualified for the position. So basically, and I'm just paraphrasing here, but basically the post was, if you're getting feedback from hiring managers that you're overqualified, it probably means, number one, you're too old. Number two, you're too expensive. Number three, the manager is afraid you could do their job better than them. And number four, they want people with no experience and no opinions, basically brain dead, brainless people. Like any organization can benefit from having someone like that. So that was my addition at the end, by the way. But so my thoughts on this. So firstly, well, let me actually go through each of these as well. So they don't want to move ahead with you because you're too old. So made plenty of placements where people have been too old for the position, considered too old, whatever that means. Seen my colleagues make placements and find positions for people that were considered, again, too old, whatever that means. And been there, done that. And at our agency, and most companies, this happens all the time. Like, it does happen. Number two, too expensive. Another over there, because I personally presented plenty of candidates to our clients where they were typically or maybe a little above the budget or way above the budget, and they were considered too expensive and gotten offer sheets on the table. Number three, manager afraid you could do their job better than them. Like, I don't even know what to say about that one. Like, that's just straight paranoia. And number four, they want people with no experience and no opinions. Where that came from, who knows? Like, I have no idea. So number 3 and 4 here, like, it's just, I don't know what to say about it. I mean, it's just paranoia and just negativity. Like, I can understand number 1 and 2. Like, I can understand why people would think it's because they're too old or too expensive. But 3 and 4, folks, this type of attitude is not going to help you in the course of your job search. If you go in with this type of mindset, you're going to just be going in feeling hostile. Maybe you might not think you're being hostile on the outside, but when you think that way, from a mental standpoint, psychologically and subconsciously, it's gonna show on in your body language, your attitude, and the way that you're speaking to others, and your all of that stuff, right? So, firstly, thinking like this, if there's no solid facts and data and information that supports the fact that it could be because the manager thinks that you're afraid that you could do the job better than them, or that they want people with no experience and no opinions, then it's just paranoia. Like, don't stop thinking like that. Don't believe that type of garbage. Now, what I wanted to tell you in this video is my perspective based on my experience being in the staffing industry for a couple of years. What it really means when we hear it from our clients, when we present candidates who might be too old or too expensive, or not too old, too expensive, but who are typically considered overqualified. And when the client got back with feedback regarding why they didn't want to move ahead with the client, the usual concern from the client's side is not that they're too old, not that they're too expensive, not that they're afraid that they could do the job better than them, or they want that hey Dean, we actually want someone brainless with no experience and no opinions, so that we can instill our thoughts and control their minds and all of that. None of that. We never hear that. But what we do hear is, look, guys, gals, we really like the candidate. We met with them. Great experience, great knowledge, awesome projects they worked on in the past. We're just concerned that would this person stay with us, because this is a full-time permanent role we're looking to hire for. It is more a junior position, so we're not sure if this candidate might get bored. Like, are they going to stick around for a couple of years? Are they going to get anything out of this position? Is this just something that they want to do until they find something better? That's the real concern, folks. Like, that's the real feedback we get from clients. Like, that's usually in most cases what the reason is. So, and that's for full-time permanent. And for contracts, it's pretty much similar. But for contracts, it's more from the standpoint of what are the chances they're going to stay for the duration of the contract, and are the rates for this position well below what they're currently been making or used to making, and would they leave us midway through the project or even before then for something that pays better and that's more in line with their experience. Like, those are the concerns, those are the major concerns from the employer, from our clients. So what you need to do, so what you need to do with this information is, what can you do at the interview to display and show that despite all of those concerns that they have, which is basically that you'll be working on a project that might be a little bit more basic than what you're used to doing, maybe, and also that given your level of experience is more senior, and this is a role that's maybe a few notches down from what you're used to, and why, despite the fact that you're capable of earning more in the marketplace, but this position is offering a little less than what you're typically looking for, because the skill set they're looking for is not maybe something requiring your level of experience and expertise, but something less. So that's why they're offering something less. Why, despite all of that, this will still be a great opportunity for you at your end. Like, so you have to explain from your perspective, because they're not just thinking about their perspective, they're also thinking about your perspective as well. Like, so you have to really show them why, despite all of that, this position is still a great opportunity for you, and why it makes sense for you from a career standpoint to stick it out. Now, if it's a full-time permanent role, it is 2019. No employer is going to expect you to stay with the company 30, 40, 50 years. But at least show why it will make sense for you to stay there for at least for a couple of years, or help them make sense of making those investments in you. Because if it's a full-time permanent role, they're going to be making certain investments. They might be making certain investments in you, right? From a training standpoint, sending you out to conferences, certifications, educational investments in you, what else, benefits and all of that. So they really got to make sense of, okay, if we're gonna make all those investments in this person, what's the likelihood of them staying with us at least for a couple of years, at least 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So that's what you really need to be selling them on at the interview. So in addition to selling them on your value as a candidate, in addition to selling them on how you're going to solve the problem that they're experiencing, you have to show them from your perspective why this opportunity still makes perfect sense for you, despite the fact that you're a senior level candidate, and that you might have been making more before, or you're capable of making more in the elsewhere. Why, despite all of that, this is still the right opportunity for you. So and that's basically what it comes down to, folks, right? So keep that in mind, and going in with this understanding is going to be way more helpful to you than going in thinking that when they say that I'm all overqualified, it's because they're afraid I'm going to do better than them, or it's because they want someone with no brains, or it's because I'm too old, or I'm too expensive. Going in with that mindset, and going in with that, so you're already mentally in defeat mode if you go in with that kind of mindset and attitude. No matter how many rejections you face, folks, not going to help you going in with that kind of mindset. I guarantee that. So keep that in mind. If you're experiencing this overqualified objection, that's what it comes down to. It means you need to do a better job showing that disconnect, bridging that disconnect between what you bring to the table, what they're offering for the role and the position, and in terms of not just the money and all that, but the responsibilities, the project, the level of challenge, the learning opportunities. Why, despite all of that, it's still a great match for you from a career standpoint, and why there is a high likelihood that you would stick to the project, get it done, and get it completed. So that's my tip for you today. Hope that was helpful, and I guarantee it's more helpful for you than what I've been reading in those posts. It's just nonsense. So I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. And think about that. If you're a senior level candidate, look, I know it's frustrating hearing the whole you're overqualified thing, but keep in mind that disconnect I talked about just now, right? So focus on that. Make sure you sell the employer or the recruiter or whoever it is you're meeting with on that disconnect, and why it makes sense for you to still move ahead with the opportunity, why it's a great opportunity for you. That's pretty much it at my end. Before I start rambling on for too long, hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll talk again soon. Have a good day.